Okay, so my leash was not having the correct structure with our team. I have more clear knowledge and understanding of the 7 steps from the warrior side than I do from the coaching side. I don't understand the coaching process as well as I do the 7 steps because that's where the rubber hits the road and I'm in front of customers with the sales guys. So it says, is this a fact? Yes. It says, what is the evidence? I said, don't have enough salespeople that I interact with and that we interact with, and our focus is more on the customer through the warrior training as opposed to the coaching training. And then how do I feel about this thought? I feel like I'm incapable or lacking performance. How do you react when you believe this thought? I react by thinking what I can do more of or how I can fix it, and that I need to and want to. What happens when I believe this thought? I act and try to focus on this, but less on other things. What physical sensations? Anger and some stress, and also anxiety in case others are doing it better than I am. Who would you be without this thought? Same as I currently am, stagnant and not moving forward in direction. What's the opposite of this thought? Changing the structure, spending more time with key guys, and learning the coaching steps as well as the warrior steps. And what is the evidence that supports this thought? I stopped there. I didn't get to that point. So that's the end. So okay. That's what I have.
Okay, so I want to tighten up. I love. Give him a round of applause for being real, right? Okay, hold.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I want to make it really clear. Okay. So tell me your leash again.
That I don't have the right structure with the team, meaning we're kind of located geographically. Maybe we have too many people reporting to one person, not enough reporting to another person, and therefore we don't spend enough time with each individual, and so we're unable to coach effectively because we're not structured correctly.
Okay. So the leash is that you don't have enough time or you don't have the right structure.
I think 2 leashes.
Okay.
Time and structure.
Okay. All right. So now, what's the opposite of that? I know that sounds crazy, but just work with me on that. So if one leash is, we'll take one at a time, I currently don't have the structure in order to be an effective coach. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What's the opposite of that?
Having the right structure.
Okay. I have exactly the structure that I need
okay.
in order to be an effective coach.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the success of our brain. Okay. The way our brain works is that if we focus more on feedback versus failure, we actually can move forward faster in life. If we focus more on what we want versus what is happening to us, we can accomplish more in life. And so again, changing the language of I currently don't have the structure I need to be an effective coach to I actually do have the structure I need, or I can find the structure I need in order to be an effective coach. Okay? So for example, what elements do you have right now that you feel like is effective? What structure do you currently have that's working?
I feel like we're doing the training in every sales meeting. We're having some huddles. We're doing the calls, and then kind of playing off what we discussed today, minimizing that group down to where we each have the key GUMP people and really focus on that, and that will get the structure in place.
Okay, good. Okay, so when you do the huddles, do you feel like they're effective?
Sometimes.
Okay, what parts of them are effective?
When there's something tangible and there's steps to follow that the guys can actually do and learn from.
Okay, what parts can you do to make the huddles more effective?
I can implement a better process to get them steps in which they do monologues and role playing and printouts so that they can repetitively answer the questions, fill in the questions, and do the process.
Good.
Rather than just talk about the process.
Good. And how long would that take you to do that? Like how many minutes a week would it take you to do that?
I'd say an hour a week.
Okay, so it'd take you about 60 minutes a week-ish.
Yep.
Maybe once you got the hang of it, maybe even less.
Correct.
Right, because it'll start to kind of get system flow, and I think once you kind of do something, you kind of shave off time, and
yep.
And so, okay, so you feel like you know immediately kind of what you would put in that test or that quiz or those assignments that you would give them to do?
I like the basics, just like sports. You focus on the basics, everything else kind of works itself out. I'd focus on the coaching steps and then the 7 steps until such a point in time that those are known and understand, and you can visibly see a change in the people, and then you move on to the next things.
Good, perfect. And what would you say is the ideal time that's worked for you in the past to create those huddles? What time of the day?
I would say morning is probably the best time as they're getting out and going. Probably 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning.
Okay, how long are they?
Huddles are only maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Perfect, good. Are you following the huddle structure we talked about before?
No.
No? Okay.
In some cases, Phil does a great job. Matt's done a bunch of them. I have not done as many.
Okay,
so
no problem.
We do it more in a sales meeting context, but I'd like to do that as well as breaking it down into smaller groups and more frequent.
Okay, perfect, good. So it sounds like you've got a plan, you've got a structure. You are going to start analyzing which huddle calls are the most effective. What are we doing on those huddle calls that's making them more effective than on the times that they're maybe not as effective? You're going to agree to just do more of what's working and less of what's not working and be consistent of that. You agree that you're going to put together this little outline, an extra assignment that you want them to be prepared for on the huddles. Are you also going to kind of master the 7 steps and kind of feel like you can say it just as fast as I can say it up here?
I'm actually very much more versed on the 7 steps on the warrior side than anything on the coaching side.
Okay.
That's where I've migrated. That's what we felt like teaching the guys. That's where the rubber meets the road. And so we've tried to coach them to utilize and understand the 7 steps. And I think to some degree we're doing the coaching steps because we're helping them exceed their goals and meet their goals and work with us when they need help. But in the structure, no. So follow the structure. I believe and promote the structure on the 7 steps of starting strong. But on the coaching steps, I'm kind of flying blind for the most part.
Okay.
I think I'm doing some parts of it, and I feel like I'm being a coach because I'm coaching on the 7 steps. But really, when I'm looking through back at some of the data here, the what's and the whys and the hows and all that, not as much structure rattling around in my brain as on the 7 steps.
Okay, perfect, good. Okay, so you're going to leverage the resources of the 7 steps.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, if you've mastered the 7 steps and you feel like you can kind of rattle them off, in my opinion, the simple question that you can use right now when it comes to the coaching process is I would just ask them, hey, so right now, just ask this question. Hey, so what's preventing you from using the 7 steps? Is it either A, because you don't believe in it yet? Is it B, because you haven't really practiced enough? Or is there some other, kind of reason that's holding you back? And then they say, whatever that is, A, B, or C. And then you just go, okay, great. Well, let's talk about if it's comfortability. Then let me demonstrate it for you, and let's see if we can get you having value with that. If it's knowledge or understanding or belief in it, then obviously it sounds like you believe in it now, and so you can obviously focus on that, right? So it sounds like you know the coaching process. You just might not know like the actual outline of it the way that we teach it, but right now you know the 7 steps, and you know the question of what's holding you back from doing it is either you just haven't memorized it yet, you haven't practiced it enough, or it's because you're stuck on one of the steps and the why behind it, and you just work through that.
No, agreed. And I think we've got I don't know what Matt feels, I think we've got a pretty good plan in place. And we've just done reviews for most people, and I think one of the things that we've done a great job in is believing in the process. As long as they stick to the process, even though it might seem canned or it might seem kind of uncomfortable, if they will just get that, asking better questions, listening, doing what the customer wants, and it all is formulated around the 7 steps. If they will just give that a chance and do it each time without fail, their brains will get retrained and they will just think in those terms and think in that process. And I think we've seen a lot of progress with the guys trying to do that, more so than in some than others. But I think that's our plan moving forward, is just continue to do that and support them, and then whatever comes next in the training, we'll support that as well. So
cool.
Yep.
Okay, so Dave, your first thing you said to me was you had some resistance that maybe you don't have the right structure to be an effective coach. Through this exercise, we turned it around and said, I have all the structure I need to be an effective coach, so I need you to say that now.
I have all the structure that I need to be an effective coach.
Okay, and give me 4 examples of the evidence to prove that we all heard right now you say out loud.
We have the daily huddles, we have the sales trainings. We're going to take and put more emphasis around the phone calls with preparation, and we're going to have it in smaller, more manageable groups, and then follow-ups with sales managers on more of a one-on-one basis.
He's unleashed!